Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we're making this simple see-through dress. It's gonna be the length that I'm making here is an optional thing. You can obviously make it longer than it is, but this is the length that I'm gonna be working with. I'm also doing these two colors here. So I have this silver color and then I have this kind of goldish color that I finished the bottom with. You don't have to do the same. You could just do the whole thing in one solid color, or you could do any colors or combination that you want. Okay, so this is what we're working on. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so before we get started, I'm going to show you all the materials that we're using for the project. And as you can see here, this is going to be my main yarn that I'm using. It's called Alice Diva Plus. This yarn is 100% microfiber acrylic. Recommended hook size is a 3 to 4 millimeter crochet hook. And what else can I show you guys about this yarn here? This skein is 100 grams and I have 4 of this that I will try to use all of it because I'm trying to make this dress a long one. And this color here is color 21, but as you can see, it's just like this nice and light silky gray color. I have this here that I had left over from a project. It's the exact same brand except it's a little bit different in color. And since I don't want to have this kind of laying around, I'm not gonna do anything with it now that I have just a tiny bit like this. I'm probably gonna incorporate this color somewhere within the project. I just don't know where yet at this moment. Okay, but I have 4 of this and I'm hoping I'll get a long dress from it. Okay, for a crochet hook size, I'm using a 4.25 millimeter crochet hook, which is G6 US. You can use whatever yarn, you can use whatever crochet hook that is recommended for this here. I have my scissors, a darning needle, some stitch markers, and of course a tape measure to be able to determine my size. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started with the project. The first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna make a bra cup. So I'll start by doing a slip knot to be able to do the foundation chain. I'm making a small for the actual dress, but the cup is gonna be more like a medium because it is I want it to be full coverage. So I'm gonna do a chain of 15. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, what I will do is in the description box below I will put the number of chains that you need to do based on your bra cup. Okay, and that way you can do the number of chains that is going to be representative of your size. But like I said, I'm making a small dress, but I'm making medium size cup that will be a full coverage for me. And now that I have that 15 chains, I'm going to skip the first 2 chains here. And in the third one, I'm going to do a double crochet, just like this. And that chain 2 counts as a stitch, okay? Then I'm going to go into the next stitch and I'm going to do a double crochet in the back of the chain. So as you can see, I'm just picking up these lumps in the back here to do my stitches into. And I'm going to do this all the way to the end of the row. So please do the same. When you get to the end, come back and I will show you how to continue this row, but on the other side of the foundation chain. See you guys in a bit. So I have completed the first row here, as you can see. So we should have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 stitches all together. You should have something just that simple. Okay, now to start the next row where we're gonna go around like this, we're going to do a chain of 2 and turn, and then we're going to do a double crochet right in the stitch right after your chain 2. And again, your chain 2 counts as a stitch. And then you're just going to continue doing your double crochets all along the side of your double crochet stitches. And then when we get to the top is when we will bring this row all around like this, as opposed to turning it again. Okay, so as you can see here, I'm just gonna go ahead and head over to the top where we're going to do the V section of the cup, so which is the sharp one of the sharp angles of the cup, and that's going to be the top part of your cup. Okay, So I'm just bringing this close here, and then I will show you how to do that quickly. Okay, like that. And then we have the top here. So in this stitch here, we're going to do the regular stitch like that. And then now we have the top, which is here. And in this stitch, we're going to do 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. Okay, chain 1. And then we're going to do again 2 more in that same stitch. So 1 and 2. Okay. So now we're creating this sharp moment or sharp angle here. And then when we're done that, we just continue to do our double crochet stitches on top of each of the double crochet stitches from the previous row. And then we just continue this all the way down to the bottom of the cup here. Okay, so again, I will show you how to finish these off and how to start the next row. And then I will have you guys repeat that, because it's repeated until you have the cup size that you're looking for, the coverage that you're looking for your cup. Okay, so I'll see you guys when you get to the bottom here. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed this row. So as you can see, that's how the beginning of your cup looks like. This is the top, and this is going to be the 2 angles on the side that is going to build up like this, as this side builds up like this. Okay, so I have that done. So now I'm going to do a chain of 2 to start my next row, and I'm going to just go right into the next stitch and do my double crochet. Again, your chain 2 counts as a stitch. And then you just go ahead and go all the way to the top, and then we will do the 4 double crochet stitches and on top, which is with the separation of chain 1 between the 4. You do 2 and then chain 1 and then 2 again in the same stitch, and that's going to continue to create the corner on top here. But you're going to pretty much kind of use this pattern all the way until you have the cup size that you're looking for. But I will show you quickly how to do that, and then I will have you guys build up the rest of the part of this part of the project before we hop on to the next one. And again, this is a bikini cover dress, so it's not an actual just dress, but it's more for a bikini cover. And if you're looking to wear it on a daily basis, then it will be that you're wearing something that is covering you on the inside. Okay, so as you can see, I just did my double crochet in that stitch right there. So now I have the chain 1 gap in between here, and I'm going to go right into that gap and do a double crochet, and then do another double crochet to make it 2. Then I will chain 1, then I will do 2 more into that same gap to continue to create my corner here. Okay, just like that. And then I will go right into the next stitch and then do my double crochet, and then into the next stitch and do a double crochet. And then I just continue these all the way again to the bottom to here. So don't forget your double crochet is right here. This is a chain 2 that we did, and on top of that chain 2 is where you will do your double crochet here before you chain 2, turn, and start the next row. So you're going to continue this until you have just 1 row to go. When you have, let's say you want to do 8 rows, that is going to be your full coverage, do 7 rows. When you have 7 rows completed, come back. I'm going to do 7 total rows, but I'm going to do 6, and then I'm going to come back to show you how to do the 7th one, because we do something a little bit different with that 7th stitch, okay, or 7th row. So go ahead and continue that until you have 1 row to go, and then come back and I will show you guys what to do next. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my 7 rows here. So as you can see, that is how my cup looks like. It is going to be a really good coverage for me. If you're obviously looking to make yours bigger, you will continue to just work the same stitches until you have it bigger. But if you were to be a small, for example, maybe you would have stopped at 5 or 6 rows. Anyways, it's going to be something that you need to try on you as you work your cup to make sure that you have the coverage that you want. Okay, all right, so now that we have completed our 6 rows and we have 1 more row to go, in that 7th stitch we're going to create a strap. And to do that, we're going to first work our normal stitches to the end there, and then we're going to go ahead and do the strap in the middle before we finish off the row on the other side. This is just an option that you can do, so I'll show you how. So 1, 2, our chain 2s as per usual, Then we're gonna turn, and then we're gonna work our regular double crochets just like we have been all the way to the top. And when we get to the top is where I will show you how to do something different. Okay, so go ahead and do that and come back when you have reached the last stitch before the middle. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked my double crochets as per usual on the side of the cup, and now I have reached the middle. So as you can see here, this is my last double crochet here, and then I have the middle. And for the middle, so I'm going to do 2 double crochets, so 1 and 2. And instead of doing my chain 1 and then doing the other remaining 2, I'm going to create a really long strap. Okay, I'm going to do a strap that is going to be long enough to go behind my neck and then to go around the back of the dress, because we're gonna need something that is long enough to help us tie at least half of our back with the strap. Okay, so for mine, I am going to do a chain of 250. And with that 250, I'm going to work down the strap by doing a slip stitch, and the slip stitch is gonna make this the chain a little bit stronger and wider, as opposed to just being a thin strap. Okay, so what I mean is you just go ahead and do your chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So for this 10, for example, just to show you, this is how thin the strap is. If you want it to be like this, then what you would do is you will continue to work this row like usual. So you will not do what we're doing here, but then what you will do at the end is you will come and reattach your string on top here and do your chain of however, and then cut the yarn and stop it there, and then reattach it on the other cup. But because I want to make the strap a little bit thicker, I am going to do it this way, where I will do my 250 chains and then do slip stitches coming down and then continue and finish this row. So I'm going to do my 250 chains. When I have that, I will come back to show you how to do the slip stitches and then how to finish off the rest of the row here. Okay, I will see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and worked up my 250 chains here. So as you can see, it's pretty long, and I also make it this long because when we do our slip stitches coming down the chain, it does shorten the length of it a little bit, not too much, but it does shorten a little bit. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. But this is pretty much what we're going to be working down, and I'm going to add one more chain for my turning chain. So I'm going to skip that one, and in the next one I'm going to go right into that stitch just like this, and then do a slip stitch. Okay, so like that, and then you're going to go into the next stitch and do a slip stitch, and then into the next and do a slip stitch. And of course you do this all the way down your 250 chains. It has a long way to go, and of course if you did 250, maybe you did less, maybe you did more, then of course it's gonna take a while to do this, because it's a little bit of a, I would say, tedious type of what we're doing here. Okay, but it's necessary to make our work look nice. So go ahead and continue doing this until you get back to the base of where we started the chain here. Your final slip stitch should be on the stitch right before the last one. And then when you have that completed, come back and I will show you how to complete that and then how to finish off the row. And then we will move on to the next part of the project together. Okay, see you guys in a bit. And by the way as well, this is how thick it goes to be now. So this is your chain, just regular chain, and the one where you did the slip stitch looks like this. So it does give you a little bit of a thickness there that will make your work a little bit nice and steady. Okay, all right, so see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I have worked my slip stitches down the foundation chain, and I have one more to go here. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish my final one in that stitch. Okay, and now we're going to do the remaining 2 double crochets in that same gap, because we only did 2 before we did our chains. And so we're gonna go right into the center and do 1 double crochet and then the second double crochet. Okay, and then now that we have completed that, then you will have your work looking like this in the top corner. And then we are going to continue doing our double crochets for the remaining of the row. Okay, so we're finishing off the row by doing the double crochets like we have been doing. So go ahead and do this, and then I'll meet you guys in the bottom here when you have completed this. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed that final part of the cup here. So as you can see, this is the end of it. And what I will do here is I will do a chain of 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Okay, I will I don't have my scissors with me right now, but when you finish that, you will cut off your yarn here, you will pull this and slip stitches, and then you will start the second cup. Okay, and I will do the same. So this is pretty much how our first cup should look like, with the straps and as well as the chain 20 like this. And like I said, you just cut your yarn off here, and then you start the second cup and you repeat the exact same thing like we just did this one. And when you have both of your cups completed, come back and I will show you what to do next. And also the chain 20 that we're doing here is going to be part of the body of the dress. So if I bring my tape measure in, if we measure the tip, the strap, so this 20, this chain 20 here, and we go across to the other side, we are at about, let's just pull this a little bit like this because it's not straight, we are at almost 10 inches here. And then we will do the same with the second one, which will give us another 10 inches, which is 20 inches altogether. And what that means is it is 20 inches of my torso. Okay, so just my torso right underneath my bust. It's about 28 inches. Okay, so with me doing 20 for both these and the second one, it's going to leave me with about 8 inches in the back that will be open. So this is going to be a back part that will be open for me to be able to do the strap here for a little bit part of the back, and then we will have it completely go full, which means we will add about 8 inches of a chain after to be able to close off the difference. Okay, so with that said, I'm going to go ahead and start the second one. When I have my second one completed, I will come back and I will show you guys how they look like. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and done my second one as well here. So this is the first one that we did earlier. This is our chain 20 that I said to do, and then cut off the yarn. So we have a second cup here as well, and the one that I just did. So with the second one that I completed, I did not cut off the yarn because we're going to continue to work after these 20 chains. We're going to continue to work on this side. Okay, so as you can see, again, if we put our cups together like this, they're exactly the same size, so they lay on top of each other perfectly like this. So that is a good indication that they're the same size. And then of course we have our straps as well. That is going to be from here, then it goes all the way down like this. Okay, all right, so now that we have completed that part of it, we're going to put the second cup on the side for now. So the first one that we completed, so we can work on the second one. I just want to make sure I have my 20 chains here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, 20. So that's my chain 20 there, and I'm gonna pivot my work like this so I can work down this way. And what I'm gonna work on it right now is just gonna be a row of double crochet. And the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna show you, and then we're gonna connect the second cup to it as well. Okay, so because we're doing double crochets, I'm going to do another 2 chains here for my turning chains. And then in the back of the third one, I'm going to go in and do a double crochet, and then into the next, going in the back of the chain, you're going to do a double crochet, and then in the back of the next, and we're going to do this all the way to where the chain started right here. and then we will carry on and repeat the same thing pretty much into the cup itself, and then we're gonna connect the second one, and then we're going to continue to work this all the way to the end of the second one as well, so through the 20 chains that we created for the first one. But for now, I'm just gonna show you guys how to do the double crochets all the way to the base here. Okay, so as you can see here, I have worked my double crochets until I've reached the base of the cup here. And so I'm going to continue it to the end here, and then we will be able to connect our second cup, and then we will continue to work on the rest of it. So as you can see, I did my last one there. So we're going to go ahead and continue to do the next one in here. Okay, just like that. And then the next one is going to be here. Don't go in the gap here because it's going to put it and make it have a gap there. We're just going to go actually into the actual stitch there. Then the next one we're going to go into here. And then the next one is going to go into this area here. And you're just going to continue doing this and make sure you're spacing them out evenly, not too gappy and not too tight. Okay, so as you can see, you want to keep that consistency like this. And then when you reach the end here, come back and I will show you how to connect the second cup to the work and how to continue working the rest of it. And then we will move on to the next part of the project together. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I have worked my double crochets here. So we lay down our second cup like this. Make sure the chain 20 is on the opposite side. And when you have laid it down like this, then you're just gonna continue to do you're gonna do the next double crochet on the other side. So as you can see here, I did my double crochet at the very end of my stitches here. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of pick up, and I'm gonna go right into the beginning of the other side here and do a double crochet like this. Okay, and then I go on to the next part of it and do a second double crochet, and then I move on to the next part and I do a double crochet. And then, like I said again, you just continue to do this all the way until you get to this end here. So where we have our chain 20 here, when you do your final double crochet right here, you're just gonna go to the back of these chains here and do the remaining double crochets in the back loop of the chain, just like we did this side. When you have reached the end here, come back and I will show you what to do next. Okay, my lovelies, so as you can see here, I completed connecting the two sides or the two bra cups together, as well as creating the back part or some of the back part of our dress. And as you can see, this is pretty much how it's gonna lay in the back, and then this part here will be connected with the straps. Okay, all right, to go ahead and start the next part of the project, which is going to be a repeated part of the project for a while, we are going to start doing the meshy or the mesh part of the dress. Okay, this is gonna be an easy one. It's gonna build up fast, and then we're gonna end up having to connect it again on the back and then continue working the project for from the base of our back all the way down to however long we want it. But for now, we're going to start here by doing a chain of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 2 chains count as a double crochet, and the next 2 chains count as a chain 2, and we turn our work, okay, like this. And then we're going to skip 2 stitches, so 1, 2. In the third one, we're going to do a double crochet like this. Okay, so this is our chain. The chain 4 counts as a double crochet plus 2 chain 2 in between. And then we're going to do a chain of 2 and then skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. In the third one, we're going to do a double crochet. Okay, like that. Chain 2, do a double crochet in the third stitch, chain 2, do a double crochet in the third stitch, and then you just continue doing this all the way to this end here. Okay, So go ahead and do that. When you've reached this end here, come back. I will show you how to start the second row, and then I will have you guys work on the project for the next bit before we come back and make a little bit of a change and then continuing. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, so I have finished this row here of the mesh, as you can see here, and I just brought you guys back here because I have 2 stitches to go, and we're supposed to skip 2 before we get to the third one to do the final stitch, but it's not a problem. You just do your chain 2, and then you just go into that final stitch and do your double crochet. So in this case here, we're only skipping 1 as opposed to skipping 2. It's not a problem at all. If you do have the same number of stitches, which is where you skip 2 and then the third, you do your double crochet, go ahead and do that. It's not a problem. And if you and if you have just 1 like I have, or 2 as I had, then just skip 1 and then go into the second one. Okay, for the second row of this, we're going to do a chain of 4 like that and turn, and then you're going to do your double crochets on top of the previous double crochet, so which means you're skipping 2 stitches. So you're chaining 2, skip 2 in the third, which is on top of the previous double crochet. You do a double crochet and then chain 2, skip 2 in the third, do a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 in the third, do a double crochet. And as you can see here, this is the part that you will continue for a little bit. You will work this all the way to this end here, and when you get to the end here, you're gonna do your final double crochet in the third stitch from the second stitch from the bottom. So we have a chain 1 2 3 4. You're going to count 1. In this third one, you're going to do your double crochet there. You still have your chain 2 in between here. Then you're going to chain 4, turn, and continue. And however we're going to build this is going to be that we're going to measure right underneath your bust is where you're going to measure. Put your tape measure right underneath your bust until just right below your belly button. And for me, it's about 8 inches. So from this here all the way to just underneath my belly button, I'm going to do a row that is equivalent to about 7 to 8 inches. And when we have that of this, come back, because what we're gonna end up doing is we're gonna have to make the complete circle at the end. So right now we have something like this where there's a gap behind like this, that we're gonna use these strings when they come down, we're gonna use it to kind of close these up. But at the end, in the bottom here, we're gonna need to bring it closed. So which means we're going to create a number of rows here or a number of chains here to close this gap, but when we have reached the bottom somewhere here. Okay, so that's when you're gonna come back and I'll show you how to do that, and then we will go ahead and move on to creating the rest of the dress. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked the project here. As you can see, I did about 16 rows of the mesh here, and I have reached the point where I'm going to now work my project in the round. So I'm going to be joining it from this end to this end here. And to determine that size, you need to first of all know how wide this is. So what I do is I take my tape measure and I just place it there like this. But instead of just placing it there like that, we stretch, because this section here is very, very, very stretchy. So we're going to just place our tape measure at the beginning like this, and we're going to stretch. Right now I'm stretching it up to about 25 inches, which is really, really wide. And when I measure the my torso, like if I measure my waist size, it's usually between 28 to 30. So what I will do is I will do a very small number of chains here and a small number of chains on this side so I can connect both sides. Okay, so I have about, let's say, 10 inches to work with for my to connect this section here. So the way I will do that is I will chain, let's say, about 10 or 5 to 10 on this side. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. If I do the 10 and if I measure that, it's about 3 inches. So let's do 15. So this is 10 11 12 13 14 15. So let's say we do 15 on this side like this, and then what we can do is we can do 15 on this other side so that we can join the two like this. But for me to join on the other side, I have to end these 15 here. So I will cut my yarn somewhere here and then slip stitch it just like that. And then I'm going to reconnect the yarn on this side and do another 15 rows on this side, okay, or 15 stitches. And the reason we're doing that is we're going to then connect so that we have a seam in the middle of the back and not on the side, because if we connect it from that side to this side, then this becomes where our seam will be on the side, which you can too, by the way, if you want to. But for me, I'm going to do it on in the middle. So I'm going to chain my slip stitch there, and then I'm going to go in the 1 2 in the third stitch from the bottom here. I am going to bring my yarn through. We're just going to make sure we actually go through the 2 like this, so it's a little bit stronger. And then we're going to bring this through like this, and then we will make sure we're holding it here so it doesn't go through. And then we're going to do our chain of 15 on this side as well. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so we have our chain of 5 on this side as well. And then what we will do here is we will join the 2 sides like this. Okay, so we'll go ahead and just make sure you hold your project on both sides very nice and steady. And then we're going to do a slip stitch on top of the first stitch on this side here. Okay, so just like this, we're going to bring it through like this, and we're going to do a slip stitch like that. Okay, now that we have this, we're going to just turn our work, do our chain 4. So 1 2 3 4, and then we're going to chain our work or turn our work like this, and we're going to work back on this side, and we're going to skip 1 2, and this third stitch right here, we're going to go into that stitch and do our double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to chain 2. We're going to skip 2 stitches, so 1 2 in the third, and as you can see, I'm going through the back of the stitches here. We're going to grab the back of that stitch and do our double crochet, chain 2, go to the back of the third stitch, 1 2 3, and do a double crochet. Okay, so again, you continue to do this like this until you reach the end here. And when you reach this end, you just continue with doing the stitches the way we've been doing. So 1 2 in this third one, and you're just going to make sure you're holding your stitches straight and even. And then I do my chain 2, and the third one is going to be 1 2 in the third one is going to be right on top of the previous one here like this. So as you can see, this is how it looks. And then I will pick up and continue on this side. So I chain 2, and I go on top of the previous double crochet and do a double crochet, chain 2, go on top of the previous double crochet and do a double crochet. So at this moment here, we're not doing anything different than we have been doing here, and you're going to continue this all around until you come back to the middle here. So you should do your last stitch right, or your last stitch on this section right on top of this double crochet, and then chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and continue until you come back to this middle again. When you get back to this section, come back and I'll show you how to start the next row, and then I will have you guys pretty much continue that until we have the length of the dress. Okay, so I will see you guys when you get back here. Okay, my lovelies, so I have worked my row here all around, and as you can see here, it's brought me back to the middle where we started off here. So I have my 2 chains that we're skipping here, and then we have this stitch right here. So I'm going to do chain 2, and then I'm going to count 1 2, and in the third stitch here, I'm going to slip stitch. Okay, so we're joining this like this, and then I'm going to chain 4 and turn my work. Okay, and then I'm going to work my double crochets on top of that double crochet there, chain 2, work a double crochet on top of that double crochet. And again, the chain 4 counts as a stitch. The first 2 counts as a double crochet, and then the next 2 counts as your chain 2 in between. And then you just continue to do what we have been doing for this project, where you just do your chain 2, skip 2 stitches, do a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, do a double crochet, and you just continue that until you come back to the middle. Okay, so this is going to be our seam right here. When you come back here, you will do your final double crochet here, chain 2, slip stitch on the 3rd stitch, chain 4, turn, and then start the next row. And then we just continue that until we have the length of the dress. Okay, now the one thing that you have to make sure you are going to understand with this is make sure this is going to fit the widest part of your hips. Okay, it's very stretchy, so as long as you do it as long as the stretchiness here is going to fit the widest part of your hip, then you're good. And if it's not, then you can increase the number of chains that you do here when we're joining. So instead of doing 15 and 15, so instead of doing 30 stitches here for the middle, you can do 20 or 40, or you can even do 50. You have to make sure that this is gonna come up the widest part of your hip. Okay, so I'm gonna continue to work mine as long as I can down. So as you can see here, this is going to be the back of the dress. We're going to be connecting this section here with the strap, and as you can see, the straps we did at the beginning very long. I had to tie it down so I can actually work without it interrupting. But when we undo those, they will come down and we'll be able to close these up here, and then the rest of it is just going to be the dress falling down all the way to however long you want it. So I'm going to work this. It's going to be a long one for me, probably going all the way to my ankles, and it depends also how much yarn I have. So if I don't have too much yarn, I'm going to stop where I stop, but if I have enough yarn, I'm going to continue to work until it's really long. Okay, do however long you want, and then come back to the video when you're done, and we will go ahead and move on to the next step. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the length that I'm looking for this dress, and as you can see, I did have leftover of this color here. It's the exact same yarn, except it's just a little bit of a different color, and I decided to just do the bottom in this color like this. So as you can see, it has this kind of goldy color in the bottom. But yeah, this is pretty much it here. I decided to not do it too long because I do have a few dresses that are long on the channel, and plus if you wanted it long, you just continue this pattern the same way until you get to the length that you're looking for anyway. So it's something that you guys can make in whatever length that you want. And of course, as you can see here, I've also gone ahead and weaved in my strap here. This is not something that is complicated at all. You just take the strap that is coming from the left side, you connect it to the right, and then you take the one from the right to the left, and then you just kind of work them through like this all the way to the bottom. So for me, this is the bottom part where I stopped here, and what I will probably do is I will probably do something where I bring it out somewhere here like this, and I bring the other one out somewhere here, and then I'll just be able to tie these two down here when I have it on. Okay, so this is pretty much it here. I may also go ahead and do and sew in cups here. That is optional. You can have it like this, or you can wear these with a bikini cover underneath, or some kind of a burlesque inside while you put this one on. Okay, so this is pretty much the end of the project here. Thank you so much again for watching the video to the end, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.